Hello and welcome to the Stress Mastery Podcast. I am your host, Peggy Romero, and I thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy our podcast. Today, I will be interviewing Tyler Smith, who was one of the participants at the Rise Up and Shift event, to get his take on the event and what he learned and what his experience was. So thank you for joining me, Tyler. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's good to speak with you again. Good to see you. Yeah, super excited. Hit the ground running coming back from the event. So it was uplifting. It was powerful. Helped me rise up. So it was super fun.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I noticed that most people had a really positive, mostly positive the whole time, except for a few of the exercises that kicked everyone's butt, which Bill did to us on purpose. But
yeah, thanks a lot, Bill.
Everybody seemed like they really shifted up, like they really rose up. So I was very happy about that. What was your one thing that you're going to start with? Did you come up with one thing that you are really interested in doing, or?
I have decided. It was hard to decide because there's so many things that you learn so much.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can do that. Oh, I'm gonna do that. Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Right.
But it's hard. You know what I mean? I can't eat the whole elephant at one time. So I think that
Exactly.
my first bite, I think is gonna be sleep. I think that that's something that is easier for me. You know, I have to sleep every night. And so just kind of tracking it, I've never done before. So I think that that will be good practice for me, so that when I shift to like working on my diet, I'm a little bit more in the habit of kind of like analyzing what I've done, because I've never really done that. I've never counted calories. I didn't know what a macro was until, I don't know, a couple months ago. So water has always been super easy for me, and I'm a pretty like positive minded guy just in general. So I think that sleep was the thing that was like, okay, you can really dial this in and start to see how it affects you throughout, the day. If I get a good night's sleep or a bad night's sleep, or what did I do the night before that made it so that that was such a good night's sleep. So kind of learning that, and then applying that to diet and then to my mind. So I think will be really fun.
Do you have an Aura ring on right now? I thought I just saw Aura ring.
I do.
Wow.
It came a day early. That was cool. Yeah, I have like an Apple Watch that I just got, and I use it for like tracking workouts and stuff like that, just because it's kind of fun. They make it a, like visual, closing the rings and all that. But I take it off to charge it at night, and so I wanted to have something that I could wear, so that I could track it without having to remember to charge my watch before I go to sleep and put it. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So yeah, I got the Aura ring, and I'm pretty,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I'm excited for that because I've had my Aura ring for a few years, and I'm always telling people to get it and take care of their sleep because it's so important. Like if you're tired all the time, how are you going to do the rest of it when your nervous system's not engaged right?
Right.
So cool. I'm glad that's a really good first step. And then what was did you have like a favorite thing, like of the goal setting or learning the human construct or let go technique or any of the spiritual things that he taught?
Yeah.
Or was it just?
My thing that really hammered home the most, was the let go technique. Sorry. um, Learning how to do it properly was my biggest takeaway. I listen to the podcast pretty regularly, and so I've heard the words several times. Can I allow this feeling? Yeah, but what does that even mean? You know what I mean? And so to understand each step of the let go technique and the way that it is constructed or built, is very intentional. Each question kind of meets you where you are to see, can I allow this feeling? Well, what is the feeling that I'm experiencing? Am I upset? Sure, I'm upset, but am I jealous right now? Am I frustrated? Am I like, where am I in that, in the energies?
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to identify that and then lift yourself out of it. Would I allow this feeling? Could I allow this feeling? So it really helped me kind of understand, like Bill talks about the valley and the mountain, to understand how the let go technique can kind of grab you from the valley. And if you do it properly, it walks you up the mountain intentionally, but kind of easily as well, once you kind of create that still point and are able to identify what's going on and to have the knowledge of, this is where I am, this is how I get out of it. Mm-hmm. Was the most important thing that I learned while I was there.
Yeah, I think it's really cool how those energies work, just like understanding that, which is why I'm constantly telling people to print them out and keep them. Like, you should have it hanging. It looks like you're in your office. If you had it hanging there and you start getting frustrated, you could see, could I allow this feeling? And to understand that allowance energy is a higher energy than whatever frustration or resentment or, anger or whatever that you're feeling. Just saying, yes, I can allow this feeling, taking the breath, finding the still point, and actually allowing it, saying, yeah, it's cool. I'm mad and it's okay. That's is a better energy than being mad. So yeah, I think a lot of people did understand that. And I think that's also one of the things that we kind of take for granted a little bit, that people are understanding things. So that was one, like, I gotta say, being there in person and hearing the questions that people were asking and then getting the clarification was like, wow, I didn't know that people didn't know that. Right. You know what I mean? Because I learned my stuff from coaching with Bill directly. And then, of course, I meet with the coaches all the time. And then the other thing is that everyone who was there got like the pause plan book and everything step by step. So I'm really hoping that people will go in and read all that material, because, even the 2 full days and 2 half days just isn't enough. It's just not enough to teach all of stress mastery, but it's definitely enough to get everybody started. So I'm glad that you're doing that. And I do think that a lot of people took away that the let go technique. So I'm happy about that. Yeah. So you found out what your diet is and you're going to start that later, I guess.
Yep. I need to, in the past, I've done blood work before. And so I knew that my stress responder is Cage Rattler. And I did the Cage Rattler diet, the reset, sorry, not the diet, but the reset, probably like maybe 6 or 8 months ago. And I 100% completely felt different, lost weight, was more energetic, was more like alert. It like totally worked. And then I fell off on the diet because, I'm a human. And so I'm excited to do it again. But like, even just doing that reset, I don't know, understanding like, this is your physiology, this is what's going to work for you, and this is what doesn't work for you. Even just taking those couple things, and I have eaten in the window, so I maybe am not eating exactly what I'm supposed to, but at least eating when I'm supposed to, so that I can manage my like my insulin response and things like that.
Your nervous system. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I am skinnier than I've been since I was like in high school. I look and feel better than I felt since I was in my 20s. So it's like, and that's just eating in the window, like Bill says. So when people are like, yeah, sure, I'll just eat from this time and it's going to be great. It really is. First. Yeah, do the reset first, because it does help. Like it really, I don't know, it just shifted. And like, now I don't have cravings for a donut, or like, I love pizza. Oh my God, I love pizza. Oh my God, I love pizza. But I'm not like, okay, I want to have pizza for dinner again right now. Like it just, I don't know, it just is different.
Well, you get a cheat day, so you can always eat pizza on
Mhm.
whatever day your cheat day is.
That's right. Just like Bill said, I never miss a cheat day.
Yeah. Bill says, I've been cheating for 30 years and I'm in the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
So also I was happy that not at the last minute, but in the last couple of weeks, that your fiance said that she would go too. So does that feel like it's going to be impactful in your household to make things easier on you, or how will that be an advantage for you?
I I don't know about making it easier. The easy thing would to just close our eyes and keep it on,
Yeah, that's true.
So we've already had conversations about, how are we going to speak to each other moving forward? What are we going to take from this and apply to our lives? And it's been 4 days now, or 3 days. So there hasn't obviously been dramatic change by any means, but it's that kind of that same thought of you can't eat an elephant all at one time. So we definitely have talked about how our diets, thankfully, our stress responder was the same. So that's
lucky. That's really good.
time. So we're already talking about how our diets are going to change, how whether or not to do blood work again, because she's done blood work recently also, or if we just want to hit the reset and go after it, and making changes to our diet and our like our exercise regimen and things like that. And she is like super down for meditation, which she's an engineer.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
I know. She's like science, 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 process, process, process. And so I was nervous about meditation for her, but I asked her, what is interesting to you about meditation? I thought it would have been too woo woo woo. No, there's science. They can measure your brain waves. They can. I'm like, okay, all right. Science stuff.
You got to get that girl a muse.
I know. So yeah. So yeah. It's cool. It's cool. Everything feels new and big, and so it's really cool to kind of get to explore that.
That's really cool. Yeah. So for the people who weren't there that are listening to this podcast, Pablo did an awesome segment or session or whatever on meditation, and everybody was wowed and overwhelmed by what a great instructor he was for that, and how they really did feel something, however they described it. People who didn't believe in meditation at all, like Tyler's girl saying, oh, now she's into meditation, and so was another guy that was there. So yeah, everybody loved that. And it completely turned some people around.
It was actually really weird because I've never done like a guided meditation like that in a group setting by any means. Anytime that I've ever meditated, it's been like by myself, in the dark, and like not like because I'm embarrassed or anything, but just because like I have trouble quieting my mind in general, and so to do that in a room with other people while somebody was talking, I just like I didn't whatever.
How's this gonna work?
Exactly. So when Pablo started, I got up and like turned off the lights and stuff like that, and then I kind of just sat where I was. I like didn't go back to my seat, and now the room is dark, and we're doing our guided meditation, and I'm sitting there, and my eyes are closed, and I could feel the people next to me. It was so weird. I could like feel their energy. I knew the people who were there next to me without opening my eyes. And like when I opened them, like there they were. And like it was bizarre. It was awesome. It was super cool. And it was a good toe in the water from somebody who like really knew what they were doing. Pablo was awesome.
Yeah.
And so to have that experience as a beginner only makes me curious about what else I can do up here in my brain.
Yeah. So well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else that touched you? Your favorite thing, your least favorite thing, your comfort zone, your anything?
Man, oh man, I thought my comfort zone was my favorite thing. That bastard.
You named your ego.
Yeah, I did. I named my ego, and it was kind of funny because I always thought that my ego, I thought that his name was Jason. Like that's like what I named him. But I realized that that was just my ego, like putting on a facade, and that it wasn't really Jason. He was like giving me a false name so that I couldn't really call him out. And my ego was actually Tommy. So okay. I got him now. He's dialed in. So I've been talking to him, which is weird in itself. But I think I don't know. I like to do balconies and basements. So favorite thing, least favorite thing, right? The highs and lows. My basement would probably be that there wasn't enough time, honestly. Like you said, there's so much information, and to have people there, the coaches, Bill, David, that know it inside and out and are able to explain it to you. Why am I asking this specific question? I don't understand that. Oh, well, we're doing that so that you can pinpoint where you are in the energies and stuff. Like, oh, I get it. And that's something that you can't hear from the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, my basement would be that it could have been longer. I know that a week-long retreat might not be something everybody could do, so I understand that. And I would say that my balcony would have been probably the 3 letters, which is kind of a surprise to me because I was one of those people that got like activated. I didn't get super activated, in regret and remorse and sorrow and pain and frustration and and so to have written that and be activated like that, and then can I say the name? Should I say it? The second letter, the holy shit letter, like everything is amazing. It's the most wonderful thing. And you're writing it to a friend that, it's fictitious or whatever. Maybe you have to send it to or whoever. So to kind of to see this is what you're like when you're activated, which everybody's been activated and they know, but it's like, have you ever been driving and you're looking at your radio to change the station, and then you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm driving, and like it like dawns on you again? It's kind of like that. Like you it's like I look back up and it's like everything's clear again. So I don't know, it's hard to explain.
But, your life can be anything you want it to be. You can see
right, yeah. So writing that second letter kind of pulls you out of it a little bit, and then learning that let go technique to be able to go back and be like, okay, this is how I felt when I was activated. I did it intentionally, and can I allow this feeling? Will I? So.
Yeah, because those letters, the disaster letter is meant to bring out your fears, stuff that you didn't even think about until you allow yourself to quiet down, calm down, right, and then just say, what is the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah. So and it was crazy.
It stinks.
Yeah. Well, when you don't allow yourself to think about, and I had like power of mind and all of that stuff. I am able to just like, oh, I'm not going to think about that. Oh, my arm is broken. Yeah, but it's only one letter that I have to write. You know what I mean? So I am able to just kind of push things aside and compartmentalize, and we'll worry about it later and we'll do it later. So when I sat down to do my disaster letter, it literally, like my first sentence, I did it to a fictitious person. I did it to whom it may concern, and then just tears. Instant. It took one sentence. I was like, what is going on right now? You know what I mean? Because you don't allow yourself to think about it. You don't. Right. And if there's parts, like if our mind is a house and you keep putting thoughts into this room and closing the door and putting it in the room and closing the door, you may not understand that that room is the most beautiful part of your house. It's bigger than the place that you're living in right now. It's wonderful. It has a beautiful sunroom and an atrium and a grand stairway, and you're sitting in this little shack because you're too afraid to see what's in there. And so to really,
that's a good analogy.
yeah. And so to open that up and say, you know what, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm gonna figure out what's going on in my brain so that I can have
release the old programs
so that I can have other things happen, because life is wonderful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, I really like that analogy. So I'm really glad that you came on the podcast with me. I like having all these different perspectives like we've been doing all week. And if you don't have anything else, then we can be done now.
I'll say thank you. That's, I think, being in gratitude is something that Bill talked about a lot. And it really made me think about things that I am grateful for. And you, Felix, Pablo, David, Bill, Linda, Vanessa, the Brenda crew, Brenda, Paula, Tom, Camille, Kim,
Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole. Yeah, I definitely connected with Nicole. She was super fun and awesome. The community. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wish I would have talked more about the community. Sorry that I didn't. Get on there, dude. Seeing people's face and being able to match it to the posts was really cool. And so you guys will see me on there. So if you want to connect, Tyler Smith, that's me.
Yeah, I do love the community, and I'm excited for David to get our little side community inside the community so we can all check in with each other for accountability and see how everybody's doing with their first step, and yeah, just connect, because that was really, really cool. I love the connection too. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today's show. I'm so happy that you listened to it. I guess you must have enjoyed it or you wouldn't have stayed till the end. Remember, our mission here is to create a shift in the planet, and you can join us on that mission by simply like, share, and subscribe. The links are right below the show notes. As always, until next time, stay inspired. Thank you.